Welcome, fellow Good Pothead, Joe Pop Putty Man here, and this is the official non-spoiler and spoiler Logan review. Now, before I get started, I want to explain two things about this video. This video will start off with a non-spoiler review, which will be designated with this icon on the top left of the screen. So, when you see the icon of Young Wolverine, then you're watching the non-spoiler review. When you see this icon on the top part of the screen, then we are in part of the spoilers. So Old Man Logan represents the spoiler review. Got it? Awesome. Also, this is Logan, also known as Wolverine, played by Hugh Jackman. This is what Wolverine looks like in the comics, and this is what Wolverine looks like in the first movies. If you're familiar, then good. If not, then go watch any of the other 8 movies they have made. Wait, except this one. This is a no. Bad. No, 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 no. Okay, now we've gotten that out of my system. Let's go on with the edumacation. First off, Logan is rated R, because Deadpool was rated R. No, not that Deadpool. There we go, the right Deadpool. Anyway, Deadpool was one of the highest grossing rated R superhero movies ever, and every Wolverine fan has been waiting for the moment when Wolverine would get his own rated R solo film. Sorry kids, only mommy and daddy should see this one. So, before we get into it, I want to go ahead and explain some information. First thing I want to point out is that Logan is based off the comic book Old Man Logan, with a few changes, which we'll get to that later, more spoiler review. The first thing is in the original comic of Old Man Logan, they actually had Hawkeye and Hulk. Now Hulk and Hawkeye are both owned by Disney. So using them in this context of Old Man Logan or Logan could not be used. So they mixed 2 storylines from the comic book, which we'll get to in just a moment. First thing I want to talk about is the character development. Okay? If you're not familiar, like I said before, you have Hugh Jackman who plays Wolverine or Logan. Then you also have Patrick Stewart, who plays Charles Xavier. Both of these characters return in all their glory, and you're going to love it. But then the next thing we're introduced to is, well, her name is Laura Kinney, and she's played by Daphne Keane. Laura Kinney, I'm going to go more into her later on in the spoiler review. If you're not familiar with her, and you would like to get more familiar, look up the original X-23 comics. That'll explain it all. Now, the camaraderie between those 3 are so great. But then they bring in Boyd Holbrook as Donald Pierce. Donald Pierce is the main antagonist in this movie. And we'll go more into detail about him as well when we get to the non-spoiler review. So the question at hand is, what do I think of the movie? Well, here we go into the non-spoiler review for this video. First off, this movie changes everything when it comes into light, when it comes to just X-Men movies in general. Ever since Deadpool did so great with rated R rating, things have blown up. Fox has learned, let the directors do their job. They're there for a reason. They have the passion. Learn by this, Fox. I didn't think anything would be better than Deadpool, but also keep in mind that this is not a Deadpool movie. This is Wolverine, so it's not going to have the humor that you're looking for. But the gritty, raw, the visceral sense in this movie is just so great that mixing it with these characters that we've grown to love just makes it gut-wrenching, and if you're a fan, you will shed a little bit of a tear. I know I did. And seeing Patrick Stewart and Hugh Jackman play together on screen, they just work so well together. And Lori, I'm forgetting her name already, and I do apologize for it. The girl that played Laura Kinney actually did a great job of bringing the character to life. Daphne Keane has a huge future, and no one should think differently about how great her role was in this movie as Laura Kinney. And then even with characters like Donald Pierce, played by Boyd Holbrook, he gives off this charm of you wanted him to die badly in this movie. And whether it happens or not, it's based on how you feel. I don't know how to explain it, but you'll have to go see the movie to understand. So, anyway, now that we've gotten how I felt, which, by the way, that's A++ if you haven't figured it out, that this movie is fantastic. Go see it. Please support this movie, because this is just showing how Fox should do their X-Men movies right. From this point on, do this rule. Get the directors that love these characters and have read about them. Because, boy, does it get into some interesting stuff. Which brings us to Old Man Logan Old Man Logan spoiler review. Okay, alright, first off, I want to address something that's huge. The origins of X-23, they're the same thing. There's nothing changed. They have actually done a great job of it. But introductions to her and Wolverine are quite different from the comic book. In the comic book, she actually wanted to hurt him because she blamed him. This kind of changes. And I think the reason why they did this is because they have the compassion of Charles Xavier to be there. There was no Charles Xavier in Old Man Logan to have any kind of feeling of that way. And at the same time, when X-23 came out, there was no Old Man Logan. Total different story. They were actually young. And by the way, if you're not familiar with X-23, X-23, I'm going to show a little picture here, bottom right. This is the Marvel vs. Capcom X-23. That's probably how a lot of gamers know her as, if they've never read the comics. So you've actually seen her before in that video game. And she was awesome in that game as well. She was badass. But getting back to what I'm talking about. There's so many gut-wrenching scenes in this movie that you can't help but just feel sympathy for the characters. The growing that has done through all the X-Men movies that have led up to this. And yes, the story and continuity is convoluted, but it doesn't matter. You can go by any story you want to, whether it be the First Class series where it started from there or the original X-Men. They both work in the scenario of this film. So to have that chemistry that you see between Professor Xavier and Wolverine, which, the reason there's a chemistry is because it is true. Professor Xavier is suffering through dementia, which means he has no control. When he gets in a desperate situation, everything freezes. If you remember X-Men 2, when he froze the whole thing and they did the whole mannequin thing, which, by the way, was the whole mannequin videos that they made, that happened in X-Men 2 before it became a thing, to be honest with you. But, or the Mannequin Challenge, I think it's called. But imagine that, but chaotically, he can't control it like he used to. So you have people that are actually visually aware of them being paralyzed and frozen when he holds up the spot. That has got to be the scariest thing ever, to know that you can't move and everyone around you cannot move. And you see how gut-wrenching it is based on how they did it. It's just, the director that made this movie knew exactly what he was doing to express everything that these characters go through in a very real-time setting that can emotionally draw you in with these characters, and especially what happens to them. I will keep that a mystery when it comes to the villains and the good guys on what happens, but it is gut-wrenching. Now, also, I want to bring up one other thing. During the time of Old Man Logan, someone else took the mantle of Wolverine. Yep, you've got it right. It was actually X-23. You see a picture right here with Old Man Logan. This is what they're doing with this. I think what they're going to do is they're going to pick up the new X-Men through either this or they're going to go back. I don't know how they're going to do it with the old cast, but I guarantee you Apocalypse, it kind of gave me a bad taste. And I didn't really feel the characters of, Cyclops and Scott Summers. So, any of the characters, Jean Grey, any of them. and I felt like it was struggling. But the thing is, the characters that you'll see later on in this movie, I fully support. And I would love if they take over the mantle and make a new X-Men series. But I know that's not what Fox's target is. They're actually trying to diverge away from the X-Men, and they can go back to it, maybe have Laura Kinney older and do something that way. But I think that these characters in general, we're going to see a pause on. I think Laura Kinney's the character of Laura Kinney is going to take over and become Wolverine. But I also think that they're going to ride on Deadpool. They're pushing Deadpool as much as they're pushing this movie. And, when Deadpool 2 comes out, I think it's going to be just amazing. Amazing altogether, okay? So, I got emotionally attached to this movie. Everything in general with this movie was just spot on. And I can't help but be excited for what is next to come, as long as Fox lets creative freedom to those that really want to make a difference in the world of comic books, but more specifically X-Men. So, should you see it? By God, if you had to pawn shit to go see this movie, please go support it. I went into tears during this movie, and even a little bit thinking about it gets me a little choked up, because it just was a moving movie. So please support Logan. Go see it this weekend. Make it a blockbuster hit and show Fox this is what we want. Because I guarantee you, no matter if you're not a fan of the X-Men comics, the Western style, visceral feel of this movie will pull your heart and gut-wrenchingly pull you into this movie. I can't say no more, but I will say this. I can't wait to see what Fox is going to allow next. Stay tuned. But there you have it, guys. A+ all around. Go see Logan. I want to thank you all for watching. Make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. And most importantly, hit that notification bell so you know when we get a brand new video up, or whenever I do any of the reviews of the Marvel comic movies I see, or Star Wars, anything around that area. So as always, I am Party Man with Gamer Potheads. And do not forget, we're all about the high score. Okay, so I'm glad you stayed to the end, because I have something crucial to talk to you about. If you want to see Deadpool, no, not that Deadpool, okay? This Deadpool. Perfect. Okay, so before I get into the spoiler of what happens, you need to get to this movie early, get to Logan early so you can see Deadpool at the beginning. I'm not joking, he's in the beginning of the movie, okay? Not in the movie itself. But go see it, okay? Now, I'm going to put the spoiler for this as well right now, so if you don't want to hear what happens in the beginning with Deadpool, then stop this video now. Okay, perfect. So, in the beginning of the movie, I was so excited because they showed Deadpool, cancer-faced, hood up, just like in the first movie, walking along, and there's two people, okay? There's a man mugging an old man. There's a guy mugging an old guy. I'm stuttering. It's going to happen. But anyway, so what ends up happening is Deadpool sees this, and there's a phone booth nearby. He runs to the phone booth and starts changing. Now, it's funny. He gets his ass pressed up against the window, taking him the longest time to change. And eventually, he comes out, and the guy's already dead. He thought, I could have called the cops. And you have the payphone that work. I've got my cell phone. And then a few other jokes happen. I'll let you guys see those parts. This is the big thing that happened. On the phone booth, it says Nathan Summers was here. Who's Nathan Summers? Nathan Summers is the son of Jean Grey and Scott Summers, aka Cyclops. And he becomes Cable. It's officially going to be Cable. He said in the first movie at the end of the credits, and he will be in the next Deadpool movie. Showing that Nathan Summers written on the outside of the phone booth was just spectacular showmanship of how they're going to set up things. So yes, we do get Deadpool in this, but at the beginning. So go check it out. Thank you for staying for the end credits. Share this video. And as always, Play Man, Gamer Potheads, high score. Love you guys. Deadpool approved. Talk to y'all later. Peace.